There's plenty of times in NASCAR where you just yell at your TV and say, you can't do that. In this video, we're going to be checking out all the moments where you cannot do that. It's most likely against the rules or there's something seriously wrong with what the driver is doing. During the 2009 Daytona 500, lap down cars Brian Vickers and Dale Jr. were battling right in front of the leaders. Brian Vickers pushed Dale Jr. below the yellow line and Dale Jr. intentionally crashed Brian Vickers. That is something you just cannot do, especially being a lap down and right around the leaders, causing a massive crash on the back straightaway.
And all of those cars are cars that had made green flag stops prior to that caution. Boy, Brian Vickers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., that ain't going to work, boys.
Vickers hard.
Here we
Kyle
go.
Busch, the dominant car of the day, in the wall.
That was wrong.
And 10 cars sliding, slamming into the infield.
Jimmy Johnson, totally uncalled for.
I had the best angle the first time. I really hate it for the Red Bull guys. We had a good car all day. We're all racing for the lucky dog there, and my goal is to keep Junior behind me. And I went to block him. I beat him to the yellow line. And then he just turned us. He hit me the first time on the way down there, which is fine. We all do that. And then when he came back up, he just hooked me in the left rear. And typically NASCAR penalizes. I think the 38 was penalized 5 laps yesterday for doing the same thing. I guess they're not going to penalize him for it, but it's kind of sad. To wreck somebody intentionally like that in front of the entire field is really kind of dangerous. That's my biggest problem with it. But apparently he wanted a caution pretty bad. Thank you, bro.
During the 2021 Indianapolis road course race, Chase Briscoe was pushed off course and he got black flagged. He was told to give up his position and he did not. He intentionally then crashed Denny Hamlin, who was the race leader, costing Denny Hamlin a shot at the win. Chase Briscoe was then disqualified.
Outside, but he's going to be offline. No, Briscoe's in the grass. Now it's a battle for the lead with Hamlin and Allmendinger. Briscoe will come back onto the grass.
It's all clear now, though. He leads them into 7. Briscoe right on his tail. We'll have to see how NASCAR...
Stop and go. 14, have a
stop and go for the 14 car. He is not racing for the win. Oh, he's going to spin Denny. Denny is spun out. The 14 car spun Denny Hamlin out into turn 2.
During the Camping World Truck Series race at Texas, Kyle Busch intentionally crashed championship contender Ron Hornaday under caution. Crashing somebody on purpose is already bad enough, but crashing somebody under caution is something extremely uncalled for and something you cannot do. Well, I guess we're going back to Indianapolis. Ross Chastain cuts the course, but then gains multiple positions and takes the lead. Technically, you could do that. It wasn't technically against the rules. It is something he used to his advantage, so he was still not allowed to do that.
1 second.
Somebody missed the turn entirely.
3 wide, 4 wide per second. Here comes Austin Cindric. Ryan Blaney sideways in front of the field.
Side by side up front, though. Chastain, he's right there. They're going side by side through the kink.
And around goes the 1. He's able to get by the 8.
Unbelievable. Sideways, though. That's going to allow Reddick to get a run on him. Lost momentum on corner exit. A lot of dirt and debris on the tires.
Chastain went off the track. So he did that access road to get back on track. Now,
I am sure. And all the places you can race here, you were looking for a spot there at the end. What were you thinking?
What do you mean, where?
Taking the access road there and getting off course there.
Oh, just trying not to be in the carnage there in turn 1. I thought we were 4 wide and couldn't go any farther right, and just decided to take the NASCAR access lane out there.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows this one. During the 2002 Daytona 500, Sterling Marlin was caught up in a little bit of an accident, but still maintained the lead. The caution came out and then the red flag was thrown. In NASCAR's rules, you cannot try and fix your car under a red flag. Well, Sterling Marlin got out of his car while leading the race on the backstretch and tried to pull on his fender. Needless to say, he was black flagged and sent to the end of the longest line, but it still made for one of the funniest NASCAR moments in history. Being a lap down car, the best thing to do is stay out of the way of the leaders. But Kevin LePage decided he was going to pull right up on the track at Talladega and take out the entire field. That is something you just cannot do.
See the intensity level coming up on these guys.
We saw Mike Wallace look like he was going below David Rudiman right here, but they ran up on a slower car. Wow.
Right. Man.
That's Kevin LePage's 61 that Carl Edwards went up across the back of.
And then it all broke loose behind him. Cars slipping and sliding. Kelly Byers involved. Brad Keselowski, watch again.
Oh, you see what happened here. This 61 was not up to speed, and it's almost like these guys moved over and didn't see him.
After an altercation on the racetrack between Bubba Wallace and Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace walked over to Alex Bowman, who was suffering from heat exhaustion, and threw water in his face and then walked off after words were exchanged.
Wallace showing you what was happening after the race is Alex Bowman catching his breath.
And I think we have to go back to the chicane move where Alex basically spun Bubba out, and Bubba didn't appreciate it, and he came over and...
Robbie Gordon was NASCAR's bad guy in the mid-2000s, and he definitely showed it. At Montreal, he was wrecked under caution by Marcus Ambrose and was told to go back to where he was being scored when he picked up the pace. He did not, and he tried to maintain the lead. He then ended up falling back to second on the restart and then crashing Marcus Ambrose. He ended up being disqualified and actually being suspended a week from a NASCAR Cup Series race.
Brad Coleman involved, Ron Hornaday involved, and up front, Robbie Gordon by Ambrose, who goes back on him. Caution flags waving. We're being told Robbie Gordon still in line in second place on the racetrack. We're being told that he is going to be back around 12th place after they've reviewed the scoring and put him in and determined that that's where he should be. There it is. Couldn't see that coming, could you? All right, so the lead is changing hands here now. Kevin Harvick has just gone out in front. A confusing situation to this race. Robbie Gordon may now be first in line on the racetrack, but the lead belongs to Kevin Harvick.
Vince, I'm here with Robbie Gordon. Got out of his race car, hopped on the roof, saluted the fans. Very rough racing there at the end. Robbie, what happened?
Well, if you want to know my opinion, I won the race. So I completed all the laps. And if you've seen this happen before, guys get spun when they slow down. That's exactly what happened with Marcus. He spun me when I slowed down, and they tell me I'm going to go back to 17th. It's not the way it is. It's happened many times. They set precedents before, and we'll appeal it. We won this race.
One I've never heard before. They are posting Ryan Newman. He is going to have to come to the pits, and the penalty, Larry, is for a body modification made during his pit stop.
Oh, I've heard of it many times, and we've seen it for years. The old jack man, the old knee in the side, put a little flare in front of those rear tires. Man. And obviously NASCAR saw it happening, and they're going to have to come to pit road, not only serve a penalty, they're going to have to repair whatever they did to that signal.
Wow, he's sideways on the wreck.
No. Big crash.
Just got crashed. That'll be it.
Big wreck going into 3. I mean, look at them. They're wrecking everywhere.
I think they made it to the overtime line.
Now NASCAR will have to look at video to determine whether the leader was at the overtime line or not before the caution.
So many good cars. We're having great days here, all wadded up in the third turn.
Allmendinger destroyed. Dillon against the turn 3 wall.
Watch Ty Dillon. He gets loose, then a little bit of contact between he and his teammate Ryan Newman.
Hard contact, 77 and a 13 there.
Then it's on.
Yep, and he gets into the one. Is that McMurray down there?
Allmendinger, Bain.